Greetings, everybody. It's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series, Nails in a Coffin, where we learn that with great kills, there must also come great nails. Well, when this video goes up, we have 66 days left until Halloween. We're covering the Halloween franchise here on Nails in a Coffin, and we're going to take a slight detour as we cover the one outlier in the Halloween franchise, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which stars the awesome Tom Atkins as Dr. Chalice. Now, most people know that John Carpenter really didn't want to do a sequel to the original Halloween, but the studios kind of forced him. He wanted Halloween to be an anthology series, and that's kind of what Halloween 3 Season of Witch was, what it was aiming for. I think this film gets a bad rap. Most people don't like it since it's not a Michael Myers story, but I think it's a good movie. If you just called it Season of the Witch, more people would speak of this movie highly. But before we get started and putting some nails in a coffin with this movie, here's a recap of the average nails in a coffin for Halloween and Halloween 2. Get your mask ready for the special Horror-thon giveaway, which I'll be watching as soon as this episode of Nails in a Coffin is over. But before we get to the giveaway, let's give away some Nails in a Coffin for Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. When the movie starts, we see that Harry Grimbridge is being pursued by men in suits. One of these men is able to get Harry down on the ground and he's choking him. Now they're between two cars in a junkyard. Harry is able to release a concrete block that is holding one of the cars. He releases it and the car rolls down and it winds up crushing the android, which gives Harry a chance to get away. Harry was able to get away, and a short while later, he collapses at a gas station, all the while he's clutching a jack-o'-lantern Halloween mask. Harry's taken to the local hospital, where he's put in care of Dr. Daniel Chalice, played by Tom Atkins. Later at night, Harry's laying in his hospital bed, and one of the androids walks into the room. He grabs Harry's head, and then he takes his other fingers and pushes his eyes in and pulls apart his nose and his skull. It's a crunching noise and just really vicious and angry type of kill. It must have been a real painful death for Harry. Well, the first kill in Halloween 3 was Harry Grimbridge, and I'm going to award him 3 nails in a coffin. He was lying in his hospital bed, and he was probably sedated at this time. The android walked in his room, who I'm going to presume has an enhanced strength. So there wasn't much Harry could have done, and I'm giving him 3 nails since he was determined to expose what was going on at Silver Shamrock. He already was able to dispatch one of the androids. He was trying to get free. He was fighting for his life. He didn't give up. He knew people were trying to kill him, and he was an elderly man, and he tried his hardest to get to safety and let people know about the evil corporation of Silver Shamrock. So he was a brave dude, and I'm going to give him 3 nails in the coffin. After the android kills Harry, Dr. Chalice chases it to the parking lot. Well, the android goes in a car, pours gasoline all over, and then lights a lighter and immolates itself. Right now, people in the movie universe do not know that these people are androids. Local town drunk Starker is warning Dr. Chalice about the spying rumors and shady practices going on at Silver Shamrock. He's making threats to Silver Shamrock about how he wants to set fire to the building using Molotov cocktails. Well, later that night, Starker is in his shack, and 2 androids show up and attack him. They take him outside, they get him down on his knees, and one of the androids, played by Dick Warlock, who played Michael Myers, the Shape in Halloween 2, grabs Starker's head, and he just rips his head off, killing him. Starker knew something was up at Silver Shamrock, and he was killed because he knew too much and he was trying to expose them. And this is a common trope we see in a lot of horror movies. But I'm going to give Starker 2 nails in a coffin. I can't say he was stupid for calling out Silver Shamrock. He knew they were a big company with a lot of power, yet he still called them out. He didn't let Silver Shamrock trick or even intimidate him. The 2 androids, that went to go kill him, they just overpowered Starker, so he didn't have much of a chance. He was just like Harry, trying to expose him, but I did take some points away because when the androids had him, he still was cowering in front of them and, just begging for his life when he knew they were an evil corporation. So I took a little bit of points away for this, and he didn't have any wherewithal to try and protect himself or go into hiding or anything. So I'm going to take a little bit of points away and give Starker 2 nails in a coffin. Marge Gutman was next. She's lying on her bed in a motel room, and she had one of the masks that she bought for her daughter, but the Silver Shamrock trademark button fell off. She was inspecting the button, and she sees there's a computer chip in it. So she starts to poke around with the bobby pin. Then all of a sudden, the button emits a laser beam right into Marge's face, leaving her grossly disfigured and dead. I'm going to give Marge 2 nails in a coffin. She went to visit Silver Shamrock since she knew that the masks were defective. She owned a toy store that sold them. So she was just examining this odd button that fell off the mask. It had a computer chip in it, and anybody would think that was odd. And she had no inclination that if she poked around the chip with the bobby pin, it would shoot a death laser into her face. I didn't see anything that she did wrong that led to her being killed. I don't know what else she could have done that could have avoided her being killed by this death laser. So I didn't think she made any dumb decisions. So Marge, I'm going to give you 2 nails in a coffin. Buddy, Betty, and Buddy Jr. were all invited to take a tour of the Silver Shamrock facilities. Buddy owns a toy store, and he'd sold more Silver Shamrock masks than anybody else. So they're taking a tour of the facility, and Colonel Cochran has them led into a test room at the Silver Shamrock facilities. Now, this is the scene. This is one of the two scenes that this movie is really famous for. Buddy Jr. has the pumpkin head mask on, and he's watching the Silver Shamrock commercial. As the song plays, Buddy Jr. starts to grab his head. Then it starts to melt, and he slumps down to the floor dead, and a bunch of bugs and snakes crawl out of his head. So Betty, she sees this, and I think it took her a moment to process on exactly what she was seeing. But after she sees that her son is dead, and he drops dead, and then, all these bugs are coming out of his head, she pretty much drops dead herself of a heart attack. Buddy Sr., he sees all this. He's trying to get out of the room. He goes over to the locked door. He can't get out. He's obviously in a lot of shock. Then he gets bit by one of the snakes that crawled out of his son's head, and eventually he falls to the floor dead. I'm going to start with Buddy Jr. and give him 2 nails in a coffin. He was just a kid. He was thrilled to see the inner workings of Silver Shamrock. He was a big fan. And all he wanted to do was wear his mask and watch that Silver Shamrock commercial. His innocence was stolen by Silver Shamrock. So I'm going to give Buddy Jr. a respectable 2 nails in a coffin. Now, Betty, his mom, I'm going to give her 1 nail in a coffin. She and Buddy Sr. put themselves in a precarious position. They were being locked in a test room inside a warehouse. No windows and a locked door should have raised some type of concern, but they just kind of went along with it. So she just kind of didn't really question anything. So I'm not saying this is her fault, just these characters were written really poorly. They were written stupid, and they acted like a bunch of airheads. So Betty, I'm going to give her 1 nail in a coffin. The same is going to go for Patriarch Buddy Sr. I'm going to give him 1 nail in the coffin. Some of the same reasons as Betty. After he saw his son and wife die, he was kind of in shock for a moment. Then he really didn't do anything other than just scream and go to the door. He didn't try and at least stand on the couch to get away from the bugs and the snakes, or do anything. And again, put themselves in a really weird position, a locked room, no windows, no doors, didn't question anything. Characters written poorly, written stupid, so I'm going to give him 1 nail in the coffin. Terry, who works at the morgue, was trying to help Dr. Chalice to solve the mystery surrounding the explosion that killed the man that killed Harry. When she's working late one night, she's looking at the remains from the explosion, and she notices something, and she's about to call the sheriff. But as soon as she tries to call the sheriff, she's attacked from behind by one of Cochran's androids. The android attacks her and holds her down on the floor and kills her with a drill. You don't actually see the death blow of the kill with the drill, it going into her, but we see enough of the kill to give it a good evaluation, so we're still going to give Terry a nail rating. And that nail rating is going to be 2 nails in a coffin. She was examining remains from the explosion, and she saw that something wasn't right. It looked like mechanical parts. And she tried to call the sheriff, but as soon as she did, she was attacked by this super strong android from behind, overpowered, held down. She tried to fight. She was struggling. I didn't say anything she did stupid that led to her being killed. So I'm going to give Teddy 2 nails in the coffin. Our final on-screen non-android death is Colonel Cochran. Dr. Chalice and Ellie were being held captive by Cochran and his androids. Dr. Chalice was able to get free and he escapes through a ventilation shaft. He rescues Ellie and they find a control room with a piece of Stonehenge in it. They Scooby-Doo their way into the control room. Dr. Chalice finds a box of Silver Shamrock chips, and then he solid snakes his way to the control panel and activates the signal that controls the chips. Dr. Chalice then goes up to the overhead rafters and dumps the box of Silver Shamrock chips on top of all the androids. This destroys all the androids, it destroys all the equipment, and then Colonel Cochran is stabbed with the light from Stonehenge that just disintegrates him into nothing. The final kill in the movie is going to get one nail in the coffin. Cochran was a warlock with evil plans to murder children using weapons disguised as Halloween masks. He had power and wealth. He saw Dr. Chalice and just ordered his androids to go get him, and he did nothing else. He could have turned the signal off in the room, and he just watched Dr. Chalice drop the box of chips, and he did nothing. And he, after he sees his plans have been thwarted, he just gives a little golf clap to Dr. Chalice and just stands there as this light hits him and he gets disintegrated. It looked like a really easy way to kill this man. Without his androids, he was pretty much nothing. So, one nail in the coffin for this so-called warlock. And let me know your theories in the comments down below about why Cochran acted the way he did at the end of the movie. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. After Cochran dies and the factory explodes, we found out that Ellie was replaced by an android. And we don't know how she was killed. It was off screen, and we don't know when she was replaced by an android. If she was an android this whole time, well, we really don't know. We didn't see her get killed, so we're not going to be able to nail Ellie here. And after Dr. Chalice dispatches the Ellie android, he makes his way to a gas station where he calls the TV station managers and trying to convince them to turn the commercial off. He gets it turned off on 2 channels, but not the 3rd. And he pleads for them to stop it, stop it. And the movie ends in a very, very classic, iconic way.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a summary of all the nails I've awarded. And here's a look at the average nails in a coffin for the first 3 movies in the Halloween franchise. Fans weren't happy with Season of the Witch since they wanted Michael Myers and they screamed for his return, and they do get his return, and next week we'll see it when we cover Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers. I want to thank you again for watching this video, and if you'd like to help me out, please consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss a video. I put a video out every Friday, my Nails in a Coffin series, and I put a video out every Wednesday, my Hover Remove Superlative series. So please check them out, and let me know your comments down below on the nails I've awarded, if you agree or disagree, or what do you think of Halloween 3? Do you think it's underrated? Do you think it's overrated? I'd love to hear what everybody thinks out there. Well, I'm going to go watch the Silver Shamrock giveaway right now. I've got my mask, and I'm about to go watch it, so I'll see you guys here next week. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay safe, stay happy, and stay healthy. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.